Afternoon, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Anniston, and all of Central Alabama. This is the CBS 42 News at Noon.
Good afternoon to you. I'm Jamie Langley. Happy Friday. We begin with breaking news from Birmingham Waterworks today. They are now declaring a stage 4 extreme drought emergency. Under these new guidelines, there will be a new 400% surcharge for excessive water use. You will only be able to use hand water with a hose and nozzle once a week, and you are not allowed to wash your car except at a commercial car wash. Oh man, with all this dry weather, we got to get right to Storm Track meteorologist Ashley Gann, who's in the Weather Center today. And for the latest on those drought conditions in our area, any possible rain coming our way.
Yeah, you know what, Jamie, we had a few showers last night, but they were few and far between, hardly putting a dent in our drought. I want to show you our drought monitor right now. See those dark reds, almost the brown color that you're seeing? That's that exceptional drought, what we're calling this D4 drought. Okay, D4 may not really mean anything to the general public, but explaining that a little bit more in detail, this is where we're the absolute driest. And D4 category is also looking at water levels in many of our rivers and lakes. It's looking at our water tables. This is the water that supplies us our drinking water. So we're looking at many facilities there that are starting to see dwindling water conditions, and that's why the drought itself is also just plaguing us with so many of these surcharges, and we're looking at additional ways to conserve that water. Here's some facts and figures for you. Nearly 9 inches below where we should be, even though we saw some showers yesterday or last night. None of that fell here in Birmingham, so it's still been since September the 18th since we've seen rain. Dry as a bone right now, and the sun shines out. Temperatures, though, will be cooling as we head into the weekend. I'll break down that weekend forecast ahead in your Storm Track 7-day forecast. Jamie?
Thanks, Ashley. We're also following breaking news from New Jersey in Chris Christie's office in the Bridgegate scandal. Here's the latest we know so far. 2 former aides have been found guilty on all charges in connection with the Bridgegate scandal for 2013. Bridget Ann Kelly and Bill Baroni were facing charges for the act that was deemed possible political retribution. Now, you may remember that lanes were closed on the busy George Washington Bridge between New York and New Jersey back in 2013. We will continue to follow this breaking story throughout the afternoon, so stay with us. Happening in less than 1 hour, Alabaster police are set to hold a press conference concerning the robbery and homicide at a gas station in that city. 54-year-old Tracy Algar was shot and killed at the Chevron gas station during a robbery, and this is Alabaster's first homicide in 6 years. This afternoon's press conference will be at City Hall. We have continuing coverage tonight on the news at 5 and 6, so stay tuned for that. There are new developments in the Colonial Pipeline explosion today. The company now hopes to restart one gas line on Sunday afternoon. The line is in Helena, and you may remember that one contract worker died and 5 more people were hurt after that explosion on Monday. House Democrats are calling for an investigation into Colonial Pipeline now. And in a story you'll only see here on CBS 42, wives of the contracted workers from L.E. Bell Construction in Cleburne County are talking about Monday's pipeline explosion, and they're coming together to help those impacted. Now, the majority of the wives were in Heflin when they got the news of the massive explosion, and our news team spoke with some of them, and they're now coming together to raise money for the families impacted. Now, there's a strong support system in place with more than 100 women in that group, and they say that they are doing it for one reason, because they are here for each other.
I mean, there's times that we call each other and we're just like, I just need somebody to talk to, or, just tell me it's going to be okay.
The wives tell us that they've already collected hundreds of orders for T-shirts and lunches for a special fundraiser on Wednesday. 100% of the money raised will go to the families of the workers hurt. New at noon today, the Jordanian military says that 2 American trainers are killed and another was wounded in an exchange of fire outside of an airbase. One of Jordan's military officers was also hurt in that attack in the southern part of the country. Developing right now, Alabama Attorney General Luther Strange is commenting on the U.S. Supreme Court ordering a stay of execution for an Alabama inmate. Now, Thomas Arthur, seen here, was convicted in a 1982 contract killing in Muscle Shoals. His attorneys argued that the state death penalty sentencing structure is unconstitutional. Well, this is the 7th time a date was given to Arthur's execution, and the death warrant expired at midnight. Strange released a statement last night saying that the Supreme Court's order undermines the rule of law, and he also says that there is no courtesy in voting to deny justice to the victims. Also developing now, state police are leading the investigation of a deadly shooting in Greene County. Investigators say 37-year-old Stanley Bridgman was shot in the head in Utah. Now, police are trying to figure out if he shot himself or if it was a homicide. As soon as they release more information, we'll update you on air and online.
I believe this is part of the Republican effort to suppress voter turnout.
At noon, that is reaction from one congressional candidate in Pennsylvania. A Republican congressman is accusing a Democratic organization there of committing voter fraud. Representative Patrick Meehan is asking the Justice Department to look into registration forms being submitted.
It's not just that there's no valid address. There's an address listed. There's just no such location in Delaware County.
Representative Meehan denies any efforts to suppress voter turnout, but state police have already raided the Democratic grassroots offices. In campaign 2016, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton are entering the final stages on their campaigns, and we are now just 4 days away until election. Hard to believe. But each candidate's strategy has changed now. They've gone from trying to win over new supporters to getting the people who already support them to the polls. Clinton is targeting star power, including Pharrell Williams, Beyonce, and Jay-Z. Trump, on the other hand, is targeting more rural and conservative areas. CBS 42 is your source for complete election coverage. Join us throughout the night on Tuesday night as well. We'll be covering it there. Well, the continuing drought in Alabama is having a big impact for one Coleman County family. Sulphur Springs is now dry, and that's the water supply for the Brown family you saw there. They are now staying with relatives, hoping that the spring will fill up again. Coleman is also tightening water restrictions there in response to the drought. Governor Robert Bentley is not budging on saying that the state's educational system is, quote, sucks. He is now receiving strong criticism from teachers and students around the state, and they're using words like appalled and offended, saying that the governor is discrediting educators and that those teachers and administrators are working to provide unique opportunities for their students. Well, we caught up with a high school senior, aspiring broadcaster, and athletic trainer who disagrees with the governor.
And to be able to come to this conference is really amazing because not all of us get this opportunity to see our work field. So I'm very thankful, and I really think his opinion sucks.
Now, some parents in the Birmingham City school system have started a campaign to send the governor messages on social media using the hashtag #WeDon'tSuck. Right now, Alabama and LSU fans are getting ready for tomorrow's big game in Baton Rouge. Our news team has been talking to fans making the trip down to the Bayou, and many say that can't beat the cheap prices and the convenience. Several are already heading to the train station to make the 7.5-hour train ride. Hey, you can catch the game right here on CBS 42. It's tomorrow at 7. Also, the CBS 42 sports team has you covered with college football this weekend. Coverage begins tonight at 10:15 with the CBS 42 Red Zone. And on Saturday, we'll be live leading up to kickoff at 7 o'clock right here on CBS 42. And of course, stay with us after the game for the Red Zone post-game show. New at noon, at least 6 people are hurt in an explosion near a police station in Turkey. Nearby buildings were also damaged, and we're told the bombing was carried out by a vehicle full of explosives. The Kurdistan Workers' Party is suspected of carrying out that attack, and 5 pro-Kurdish lawmakers have been formally arrested, including the party's 2 co-chairs. 3 other detainees have been released from court. Happening today, Jerry Sandusky, the former Penn State University assistant football coach, is expected back in court. This new development comes as he is fighting to have his child sexual abuse convictions overturned. He's serving a 30 to 60-year-old sentence for sexually abusing 10 boys, and his lawyers have called the appeal hearing to try to have his charges dismissed or get a new trial. Roadwork continues to slow down your drive to and from Tuscaloosa, but one section only continues a few more days. Real-time traffic anchor Rachel Lundberg shows us how to get around the problem zones.
monitoring your afternoon Friday commute, getting excited to drive home and start the weekend. Be mindful of this construction still taking place for a few more hours until 4:30. Intermittent lane closures from 73 to 76 mile markers on I-2059. Yesterday I was tracking it in the northbound direction, could be in both directions, and it will be taking place until November 9th. Make sure you tune back in Monday for the CBS 42 morning news. I'll give you the all clear to the start of your work week. For now, that's the latest with your real-time traffic.
New at noon today, the University of Alabama is moving ahead with plans for a brand new performing arts center on campus. A new $60 million performing arts center is now in the works. It'll be in the restored former Bryce Hospital that's on campus. And there will be a new facility, offices and rehearsal space for theater and dance. Plus, museums will be dedicated to the university's history and the history of mental health in Alabama. Also new at noon, one city in Ohio is combining business and safety with 2 new safe zones for people to meet after they buy things online. There are now 2 so-called exchange safe zones outside the Sheriff's Department in St. Clairsville, Ohio. They're there for anyone who needs a safe spot to meet someone, just in case that meeting could get dangerous. Most often, they're used for buyers and sellers from online shopping to meet up and swap products.
You know, the world's not always a safe place, and sometimes things look really good and they're not. And people have lost their lives over thinking they were going to, be buying a dresser.
Cameras are always rolling on the 2 spaces for extra protection and safety. Well, still ahead on the news at noon, Chicago Cub fans are not done celebrating yet, and neither is one woman. Next, why this woman is celebrating the Cubs' win in a really big way. Speaking of the Cubs, they are continuing to celebrate. Here's a live look in now in Chicago at the parade that's taking place right now to celebrate their World Series win. You're watching the CBS 42 News at noon. We'll return right after the break. Stay with us. Right now we are following breaking news in Vestavia Hills. Captain Kevin York with Vestavia Police Department confirms to us that officers are working a death investigation at a home on South Cove Drive. A person was found dead in the garage We'll have more information coming into our newsroom throughout the day. We'll bring it to you live coming up tonight at 5. Welcome back. At New and Noon, the Chicago Cubs are celebrating their truly historic win, and one fan is celebrating just as big. Get this, she is 108 years old. Look at her. This is Hazel Nilsson. She was born 2 months before the Cubs won their last World Series in 1908. And yesterday she received flowers and a congratulatory card, all while holding a newspaper with the headline she's been waiting a lifetime to read.
They were my team. And they lost and lost and lost. Go Cubs, go.
I love her. Thousands of people are expected to line the streets of Chicago for a very special parade. We just saw a live look in just a few minutes ago as they celebrate the Cubs' big win. Still to come on this Friday afternoon, Sidney Poitier is known around the world, and he's about to get even more attention. Coming up, the big honor he's set to receive.
You're watching the CBS 42 News at Noon.
Well, look at all this sunshine over the Magic City right now. It is a beautiful blue sky. And look at these temperatures. 77 in Birmingham, same with Anniston. Tuscaloosa's at 78. The big story, check out the wind speeds, 15 to 20 miles per hour. It's a breezy day, to say the least, and breezy may even be a bit of an understatement. These winds out of the northeast right now as a cold front drives across the state. That's going to usher in this cooler air, but it's keeping us quite windy today. So even though temperatures are in the mid to upper 70s right now, it probably feels about 5 to 7 degrees cooler when you're looking at those wind speeds anywhere between 10, 15, maybe up to 20 miles per hour at times. 77 now in Gadsden with 77 in Talladega, 75 in Johns, and 78 in Centerville. Here's a look at the temperatures through the afternoon. We're on our way into the mid to upper 70s. We'll stay that way through around 3 to 4 o'clock, lower 70s by 6. And then once that sun sets, temperatures drop into the 60s. Here's what's going to be nice. It's Friday Night Lights. Can you believe it's playoff weekend? And I'm pretty sure you've worn T-shirts and shorts for most of the ball games this entire year. Well, maybe tonight for some of those playoff games, you can actually pull out a blanket, maybe even look forward to ordering up a bit of hot cocoa at halftime. Temperatures should be in the 60s by 9 o'clock and then falling into the lower 60s, maybe even some upper 50s by that final whistle tonight. It stays clear for the Friday night games. It's going to stay clear and dry for all the big football games across the Southeast this weekend. A couple in particular, Auburn fans heading down to the Plains taking on Vandy. It's going to be a morning tailgate with temperatures at 55. Your 11 a.m. kickoff at 63 with that final whistle at 70. Alabama fans, a little game down the road, Baton Rouge. You're taking on the Tigers of LSU. Tailgating in the 70s, 7 p.m. kickoff in the 60s, final whistle, lower 60s. Keep this in mind. If you can't make it to the game, that's okay. You can watch all the action right here on CBS 42 tomorrow. And look at the sunshine. This is going to be a great weekend to have the friends over, and look at this too. Plenty of sunshine, rain free for your Saturday and Sunday. And don't forget, roll that clock back 1 hour before you go to bed Saturday night. And that's a look at your Storm Track 7-day forecast. Jamie?
Thanks, Ashley. Next on the news at noon, it's every actor's dream to make it to Hollywood, and one actress is really making it big. Next, the Huntsman star being immortalized in Hollywood. Welcome back. New at noon today, actor Sidney Poitier is known around the world, and he's about to get a big honor. Poitier will be honored in celebration of the 50th anniversary of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. The salute will take place during the 8th African American Film Critics Association Awards. That's on December 12th. Also in entertainment news, actress Jessica Chastain is making her name known in Hollywood. She was immortalized at the TCL Chinese Theater yesterday. Chastain put her hand and footprints in the cement at the iconic Hollywood establishment. Chastain is known for her work in movies like this year's The Huntsman. And just an FYI, leaving one's print at the theater is considered one of Tinseltown's highest honors. The news at noon does not stop here. We have your 7-day forecast coming up right after the break. Don't go anywhere.
You're watching the CBS 42 News at Noon.
Well, here's a quick look at your Friday forecast. 77, and we can cheer about this. There's sunshine out in full supply today, and it's finally feeling like fall. I may not be able to give you a whole lot of rain, but I can give you fall-like air. It's going to be noticeably chillier tomorrow. Be sure to grab the jackets in the morning. Temperatures starting out in the 40s. And also roll those clocks back 1 hour before we go to bed on Saturday.
Enjoy that extra hour of sleep, right?
Extra hour of sleep and extra hour of sunshine on Sunday.
All right, we'll take it. Hey, that's the bright spot, right?
There you go.
We'll take it. We'll take it. Thanks, Ashley. That's all the time we have for now. On-air coverage continues on CBS 42 News at 5. Go to our website, WIAT.com, for the latest. Have a great day.